I've said this before on the YouTube channel, I'll say it again, that Resident Evil Village, guys, is pretty much one of my most anticipated games of 2021 now, and it's one of those games that's going to be coming out, and probably a lot more guys are going to be getting announced for the 2021 slot. And I gotta say, I've said this, you know, a number of occasions, I'm a huge fan of the horror genre, and what I want to see, though, with Resident Evil Village are a number of things here. There's a lot of things that we can break down, that we can discuss here, you know, on the YouTube channel, and I want to get your guys' feedback on this. You guys can check out all the Resident Evil Village content on the YouTube channel up to this point, and I also, in this segment of the show, I want to talk about everything that we want in this game. I think there's a number of things that we want, that we truly want to see moving forward. I think there's things that we want to be surprised about. I think there's things that we want there to be a lot of, you know, mystery to, a lot of psychological elements, which looks like that's exactly the kind of tone that they might be going in with Resident Evil Village. I gotta say, ever since Biohazard, I'm all in once again in this franchise. And look, I'll say this. Resident Evil, guys, as a franchise is great. I love it. You know, I really started playing the game in Resident Evil 5. That's when I kind of started, and I loved the concept, right? But I loved the elements after going back to some of the other games and kind of seeing like more of the horror elements of it. I really wanted them to go back to the horror over the action, and they did with Biohazard. And it looks like now moving into Village, it's hard to say, you know, are they going more horror again? Or are they going to be doing, you know, more action? It's hard to say, but I definitely want to kind of break those things down and talk about everything that we want, guys. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to see in Resident Evil 8. So let's get into it. So coming in at number 1 for me, guys, is with Resident Evil 8, that being Resident Evil Village. I really want there to be, you know, obviously the direct continuation from Biohazard into this, you know, into this world of Village. I'm very excited about it. I obviously want there to be a lot of mystery, a lot of, you know, psychological elements, as I had alluded to. I think that's going to make this a very twisty, mind-bendy type of title, and I can't wait for that. I also want it to be more based on horror once again than action. Now, it's already been stated by Capcom that they are going to be going where they're going to have more action elements in this one than they did in Biohazard, which, look, at least we got Biohazard, which was that true horror, you know, title or continuation for Resident Evil. This, if they want to add a little more action, okay. But I just don't want them to go totally away from, like, what has made Resident Evil so great in the past, that being the horror elements, right? And so I really want to see new characters, new environments, as well as new enemies. And it looks like we're going to be getting all of those things in this game. A lot of the enemies in this game, I love the concept of the werewolves. I love the way the werewolves look, at least from the reveal trailer. I love some of these characters that it gives me kind of some very interesting vibes, guys, of the different, you know, villains that look like that are going to be in this game, and some of the characters that you're going to be coming across in this game look to be kind of picking up where they left off with Biohazard, and I love that. I really do. It gives you this eerie sense of you know, very, you know, it's an unnerving experience, it seems to me, just by watching the trailer. Then you got the puzzles. You've got, you know, different ways that we're going to kind of traverse this world, I think, and that's going to make this a really interesting experience as well at the end of the day. Having those puzzles, guys, I think, you know, keeps you on your toes as you're going, and the horror elements of this, I think, could be pretty terrifying. Will it be as terrifying as Biohazard? Well, we'll just have to kind of wait and see, obviously. So that's kind of like the main thing for me, guys, is having those new environments, having the new enemies, new characters, as well as existing characters, existing enemies and such. I know there's a lot of things that people want to come back from Biohazard, or a lot of things that people don't want to come back. We'll just have to kind of wait and see, and I'll give you guys further information as more information comes out about what's being confirmed that's going to be in Resident Evil Village and what is not. The next thing for me, though, guys, is more of a kind of, if you're going to go based on a more action over horror elements in Village, I really want there to be more of a open world setting, even if it's just semi-open world. We obviously know with Biohazard it was pretty constrained. It was tight corridors. It was, very claustrophobic. I want there to be this also in Village, but at the same time, I'd like to be able to explore the Village. I'd like to be able to go places and explore the Village. Pretty much for the most part, from the trailer, if I remember correctly, it was mainly night, at nighttime throughout the course of the trailer. It doesn't look like there's very many, daylight hours. Maybe there will be as we get closer. We'll see more gameplay and such, but it seems like it's going to be mainly at night, and so that will be a very interesting sense of a nervousness for us. But I really want to see there be like a semi-open world setting where you're able to explore, even if it's not like super immersive, being able to explore, find different collectibles where you learn more about the lore, the story of the village. Understanding the village, I think, is going to be really important as well. And, I just want them not to go away from the horror where they're just going to be kind of replacing that with significant amounts of action instead of the horror elements. The horror elements obviously make this such a terrifying experience. Now, what I'll get to next, guys, is I really want to see multiplayer and co-op. I think that we've seen some multiplayer elements, co-op elements have come into some of the Resident Evil games. What I really want to see, though, is a multiplayer experience as well as some co-op experiences, whether that's co-op missions or you just play the campaign with your friends, play the multiplayer with your friends, whatever it might be. I really want to see multiplayer in this in a major way. Even think of like Dead by Daylight or something where it's like a 3v1 type of scenario where you're trying to escape or you're trying to do a horde mode where you're going up against waves and waves of werewolves or enemies and such with your friends. That could give you, hours upon hours of fun, guys, and excitement. Because look, after you beat the game, no matter how long it is, if there's not anything else to do in the game and you have to wait for DLC, you're going to move on to other games. And I think Capcom, they need to move in this direction where they are actually, putting multiplayer and putting, all of those things into their games. I mean, I look at a comparison like Devil May Cry. I think Devil May Cry absolutely needs to have multiplayer elements to it. I think it's primed for multiplayer. And so Resident Evil, they are adding it. It seems a little bit more to their, titles, but they really need to do that in this title, in my opinion. This is one of their staple games, guys. I truly believe that they need to have multiplayer as well as co-op modes. So when you're done with the main story, even if you want to play it through a second time, which is a lot of times what I will do and look for other collectibles and such, after it's done, you're not going to want me just to move on to another game. You're going to want me to stay there and play some multiplayer, play co-op and such. That also helps build community. That helps you build the legacy of the game, and it brings people back. You'll get more people streaming on Twitch. You'll have more people talking about it on YouTube. And so I think that those things are incredibly important, guys, moving into Resident Evil Village, and I really hope that they do it. I just think it's going to be incredibly important for the success of the game, in my opinion. Now, lastly, though, guys, this is going to be a very controversial one, but I definitely want to hear from you guys about this. I've stated this in the past about certain titles. The question is, and most likely they won't do this, but making the game free to play, or at least certain aspects of it free to play. So let me give you an example. Call of Duty, guys, they give you, as far as your package is concerned, if you buy a copy of the game, you get not only you obviously get a multiplayer, a full-blown campaign, you also get co-op elements, and then of course Warzone is free to play for everyone, which is the BR mode. And what I'm getting at is more and more AAA games are going free to play in one capacity or another. And so what I would love to see is with Resident Evil Village, helping to build the scene, guys, make it a free-to-play multiplayer experience. You would get a lot of people in there to play the game, which is going to help build the scene. It's going to pretty much continue that, the continuation of the game. I mean, you think of, Elder Scrolls Online. Whether you like it or not, they're consistently updating it. You can consistently update Resident Evil Online or something if that's what they decided to call it. What I'm getting at, guys, is really continuing to build the community here. Sure, Resident Evil has done a great job of building a community, but at the end of the day, I think that there's so much more potential here. with Resident Evil Village, just based around what they've shown us so far. I think there's a ton of potential, so I would love to see them do that and maybe just have certain elements of it, maybe multiplayer, whatever it might be, make those free to play. But let me know, guys. Do you guys agree with some of those things? Do you guys disagree with things that I want in Resident Evil Village? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Resident Evil Village content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.